Welcome to the recap for Miss Earth 2023. First, I want to start by saying that the red carpet and the drone shots of the venue were so fantastic. This looked like such a fun event to attend. I thought that the venue was incredible. Since the pageant was hosted in Vietnam, the contestants came out in a traditional ao dai and they did a presentation at the beginning of the show, and that's what they wore for their introductions. I thought that was very, very beautiful. And I've also noticed that Vietnam has become a popular place to hold international pageants within the past few years. They do such a fantastic job with all of their productions. So I really hope that soon we'll see Miss Universe back in Vietnam as well. That would be a really fun one to attend. They also featured some live performers throughout the show, and I thought that was wonderful. I'm always a fan of blending pageantry and the performing arts. I think it really, really enhances the show and it adds a lot of entertainment value for the audience. Next, the ladies came out and they did a little dance number in their swimsuits, and the swimsuit wraps that they had on them were so cute. I could not believe how much they danced though in those heels. That's not easy to do. A lot of the contestants had really, really big platforms. Ladies, I wouldn't really suggest that for the swimsuit competition if you can avoid it, because you never know if you're going to be in one of these scenarios where you're going to be doing a really elaborate dance. At Miss Earth, they do something a little bit unique. As soon as they announce the top 20, they get a very, very short presentation in their swimsuit walk. So it's almost like if you're going to blink, you might miss it. So I'm going to give some quick thoughts on the top 20. Netherlands immediately had great eye contact with the camera. She was very tall, she had a very solid walk, and she was confident. No wonder she advanced. Thailand was very, very confident. I personally wish that she would have moved her shoulders a little bit less for that swim presentation, but nonetheless looked gorgeous. South Africa was a little bit bouncy for me, but she had a really, really great little routine and walk and performance, and very, very confident. I liked her still. Philippines, oh my goodness. So we have to remember that for this, they're judging form and shape, right? And so her body, her little waist, oh my goodness, my waist could never, but she looked really, really beautiful. She had a great wrap removal and very confident. I expected exactly this from Philippines. India had some of the most beautiful eyes. Oh my gosh, very eye-catching. And I think that she needed to pull up the sides of her swimsuit a little bit more to really elongate her legs. Puerto Rico, I really, really liked her. I thought she had a very strong walk and performance. She's so fit and she was just ready to go. Very competitive. Albania opened with a nice spin turn. She had great eye contact with the camera and she really wasn't overshooting anything. No wonder she won. She, to me, is like a really great example of not underwhelming the audience with low energy and not overshooting. She was in that sweet spot. Zimbabwe is so gorgeous, and not only here, also at the most recent Miss Supranational, their contestants are amazing, and I'm wondering why these ladies have not competed at Miss Universe, unless they have. I'm not sure, but she was stunning. I loved her. Brazil had a nice opening pivot, and you could tell that she was prepared and had a well-rehearsed walk. I really liked her. She stood out. Mauritius was really beautiful, and the walk can be improved, but she had great energy. Russia, I loved. First of all, very, very beautiful. Second of all, she was confident and she had really great eye contact. And for me, she had one of my favorite swim performances. USA initially had good eye contact and then she missed the rest. She lost focus. I don't know what happened. And I also think that she needed a stronger pose at the end of the walk. Kazakhstan, very, very beautiful, had such a tiny waist. I felt like she needed more confidence, but remember, part of this scoring is form and figure, and she has a great shape. Venezuela, loved her smile. I thought that her walk though, she needed to cross over a little bit more. And then it was really strange to me because it was like her energy kind of died at the end of the runway. It's like she wasn't fighting for it anymore. Vietnam had a really nice opening pivot and good walk, but I did feel like she needed to connect a little bit more with her eye contact with the camera. Indonesia was beautiful. I wish that her facials were a little bit more engaged, but the walk was good, but I also thought that the heels, the size of them and the color were quite distracting. Next, we had another performance. Then we got to see the top 12 in their evening gowns. Vietnam, I must say, that was a really cool gown with that bustle, that caged bustle in the back. And it also reminded me of the logo of Miss Earth, like the little things that are on the side of it. I don't really know what it is, but it sort of reminded me of that. Anyways, she did a really good job here and she kept a very nice soft smile, so I liked her a lot. Brazil had really beautiful eyes and a great opening pose and honestly a strong gown performance. For me, I really liked her. She stood out and she didn't even look down when she was walking down the stairs. Impressive. South Africa, oh my goodness, her cape was really beautiful flowing in the wind, but it gave her a little bit of difficulty. She did a great job with this and her ending pose was so beautiful. I honestly think that she could have advanced. She's like on the edge. Venezuela was gorgeous. I just feel like she should have slowed down the whole performance to like really live in the moment. Also, were they required to wear blue, green, and yellow? I would assume that they were because normally we see different gown colors, but they were all in the same shades. Netherlands had a really beautiful face and eyes. Oh my goodness. And she had a really nice moment at the end with the wind and she really earned some extra points from me there. I just loved it. Philippines, someone please explain to me what is in the back of her gown. So I love the pieces that wrap out, but it looks like a big silver plate and I couldn't get a good look at it. I don't understand the significance of it. I like the removal of it and then she had to kind of like put it back on her. I thought that the removal would have been cool, but I just didn't understand the plate. And she was missing some eye contact here and there, but overall still very eye-catching. Like you can't forget her in this gown and this performance. For a second, Albania reminded me of Candace, the Victoria's Secret angel. There's something about her eyes, I think. She was very elegant though, and she had just had such a nice moment at the end. I loved this performance. She was just coasting through all of these rounds though, honestly. She was doing just enough to keep moving. Puerto Rico, I really like this shade of green on her. It looked beautiful with her eyes. Oh my goodness, the whole look, honestly. Loved her. Indonesia, okay, if it were any other pageant, I would not be on board with these flowers, but since it's Earth, I really loved it. I was a little bit distracted though by the heels, I have to say, but other than that, it was great. Thailand, okay, I loved this ombre gown. All right, really beautiful. She had a nice opening pose, honestly, a great performance, and there was something about it though that just reminded me of Miss Universe. I think it was her facials. Russia, I think, was so gorgeous and so regal. Oh my gosh, I just loved her. I wish she would have been in a different color, but it seemed like they were all required to wear this color. I really just feel like she would have shined in something else, but regardless, I liked it. I also just wish she would have put her arm down. I get it holding the sash, but I don't think it enhanced the performance. Kazakhstan had a really nice spin turn. Her evening gown was a little bit short for me, honestly, but during this part of the pageant, they are focusing on beauty of face and poise, and she had that. Now we move on to our top 8, and they all had a question and they had 30 seconds to answer. So here's what they were asked and what they said. We're starting off with Netherlands. She was asked, how do you stay positive despite what's happening in the world today? She responded, good evening. I created a platform called My Tree and Me. There is more than a platform. It is my commitment to defending deforestation, trees. And then she was trying to say the lungs of the earth. And then she got cut off because of the 30-second time limit. But it was really nice that the host helped her out a little bit and he wrapped up the question for her and he just said, it is the lungs of the earth that keep you positive, right? Like he was trying to help her tie everything together, and that was really sweet. Now we have Brazil, and she was asked, do you think there is already gender equality? And she says, I really believe in improve of human being. And then she stumbled a bit and she said, thank you so much. So I really believe in the evolution of humans being and improvement of their attitudes, because I think she's meant to say addition, but she said addiction. Improve society, we can change the world. So she got pretty thrown off here, got cut off at the end, and I don't really feel like directly answered the question. Vietnam was asked, what do you think are the pros and cons of artificial intelligence, the good and the bad? And she says, I do believe that environmental issues have no borders, and I believe that we live in a world of information and data and overflowing of information and data. So in my opinion, I believe that artificial intelligence has the ability to help us, but also hurt us, and we need to be very practical in our ability to use technology. So I want to say that she spoke very well in this answer, but she didn't really get into the pros and cons. She just said that it has the ability to help us or hurt us, and she didn't really discuss those. Kazakhstan was asked, what do you love about being a woman? And I feel pretty bad for her because she used a translator and it seemed like she said a lot more than what the translator translated, but that's all they shared. And even the host made a comment saying, isn't there more to her answer? Because when it was translated, this is all that was said. For me, I think what I love most about being a woman is that I'm being loved. Very, very short, but when she spoke in her native language, she spoke very confidently and she seemed to say a lot more. Philippines was asked, at what age do you think a child should be given access to social media? And she says, I believe social media can truly present itself very disparity, but in accordance to how people use it. I believe that when a child is parented by their parents to practice responsible cyber citizenship, and which he would know what to click, what to read, and who to trust online, then no matter what the age is, then it should be validated and should be accepted with the proper guidance. I thought she really nailed this answer. She did such a great job talking about responsible use and that no matter what age that is for a child, that it's important to have guidance from adults. And I thought that was great. Albania was asked, for someone who was born in the age of technology, can you imagine living in the past when the internet did not exist? She was very confident and so at ease when she spoke. Here's what she said. Hello everyone, good evening. Well, in my introduction video at the end, I said I would really want to live in a world that my grandparents lived in, where nature was our first step, where we would play outside and actually enjoy, get to know each other, and respect our surroundings. I do believe that technology right now is very important. It's part of our life, we can't ignore it. But environment and our surroundings is more important because that's where we were born. That's what respects us, so we should respect it. Really cool way how she took this unique question and just tied it back into her introduction. But there was something about the way that she presented this answer and I was like, I think she already won here. Like she did such a great job during gown, and then this was just a solid presentation of her onstage answer. I knew she would be moving on, but I just saw this and thought she won. Thailand was asked, what do you think we should do in an economy where prices are constantly going up? And she says, I believe right now the economy is going through a crisis. People are not available to afford housing, food, and essentials of life because we are drawn to luxury objects. We forget the nature. We forget where we are from. We forget how we were brought up. I believe people should go back to their roots and stay with nature. Honestly, this answer was a pretty good idea. She just needed some more confidence. Russia was asked, what do you think about the world's declining birth rate? She said, hello everyone. I want to tell you that I believe our world is very beautiful, very flourish. And about decline, I think that children is very, very important, filled our life because I study at Ecologic University and I like children very much and I want to pass my knowledge about ecology with them. So I don't feel like she directly talked about the declining birth rate, but more so that children are very important and that she wants to pass on her knowledge to a future generation. For the next part of the show, the ladies that didn't advance to a top 4, they were all sashed as runners up, and this is sort of similar to what you see at Miss Grand International. I'm so curious though, what do you think about sashing runner ups and giving them crowns? What are your thoughts? The top 4 all received the same onstage question, and it was, an official at a recent climate conference was quoted as saying, there is no science behind the phase out of fossil fuels. Do you agree with this? Why or why not? You better get ready for these challenging questions, ladies, if you want to compete in Earth. I believe that in order to have a more sustainable future, we must experiment with nature as well as humanity, and I believe that with anything that comes into our lives that we can achieve it through science. And I believe with anything that comes into our lives, we can achieve it through science, through our human society as one whole community of our planet Earth. She spoke well, but she did not say whether or not that she agreed or disagreed about the science behind phasing out fossil fuels. Philippines said, as someone who is from the medical field, I do believe that everything roots from science, and I think that the greatest gift that we have in this generation is the sophisticated technological installations that we have, and so there is science in the phase out of fossil fuels. But one thing that we can also agree on is that we can always live the zero waste and sustainable lifestyle. I've been practicing it because sustainability will always ensure the stability in our future. Then the bell went off and she continued and she finished and said, if we can master the transferability skills that phase out, then we will have a greener and more sustainable future. She did an excellent job here supporting her answer and her position. I think the only thing that hurt her is that she went so far beyond the bell. She just kept going. Albania said, I do believe there's a lot that's happening to our earth regarding also this problem is because of unawareness, is because of not thinking that they really do have an impact to do the undoing, to actually make progress in this world. And I believe that if we can plant the seed of love, we're going to carry all the other values we need to have: persistency, consistency, determination, and actually passion for caring for our earth. I have passion about our advocacy. That's why I'm here in front of you today. Something about this answer reminded me of Brazil's answer at Miss Charm this last year. It was just that moment where she talked about persistency, consistency, and determination. She spoke very confidently in this answer, but like I said, I felt like she already had won after Gown in that initial onstage question. Thailand said, I believe if the right eyes and ears are on the right thing, like green energy and alternatives from fossil fuels, I believe we can make a difference in combating the emissions we are giving out to our planet and helping out our planet to become a better place by investing and educating people about the green alternatives there is. So great answer here, but she didn't talk about whether she believes about the science behind phasing out fossil fuels. Here were the results. Miss Thailand was crowned as Miss Fire, Miss Vietnam was selected as Miss Water, and Miss Philippines was selected as Miss Air. That means our winner for Miss Earth was Albania. Albania was very, very consistent throughout this competition and really just giving me queen vibes. Like I said, once I saw her in Gown and once I saw her in her top 8 on stage question, I was like, I think she's gonna pull through. So she did an excellent job here. I hope that you enjoyed this recap and that you'll tune in for lots of other recent episodes that I've created and that you chose to subscribe. If you'd like to support the channel in other ways, you can do so by hitting that super thanks button. And also don't forget I have a free pageant prep course that I have linked in the description if that's something that you might be interested in if you're preparing for a competition.